Good afternoon, I'm Katrina Rice. It is Thursday, December 20th, 2012, and this is your 5-minute international update. The president of France is in Algeria today. He's there for a couple-day visit. He is saying he wants to improve relations with Algeria, pointed out that he's aware of their 132 years of oppression by France, but didn't actually come out and have any kind of apology, even though it was sort of expected. Amnesty International says that the EU is close to a humanitarian issue, specifically with the treatment of immigrants in Greece while they're going through their financial crisis. Immigrants are getting the brunt of some of the worst treatment there. In Nicaragua, a number of TV personalities have been charged with laundering and drug smuggling. In fact, these personalities aren't really personalities at all because they were just frauds. There's 18 of them. They were smuggling money and drugs in TV vans with television logos on it, but I don't actually think they were doing any recording. So it was a good idea while it lasted, I suppose. Russia is banning Americans from being able to adopt Russian orphans. This has been going on for a long time, the adoption of Russians by American families, but Russia has now decided to stop. They put forward this bill. Putin actually came out saying he supported the bill, so there's no hope that it's going to stop with him. This is specifically to counter the human rights bill that the U.S. Congress passed, not allowing Russians to do business with or into the country, even that had human rights violations. And so this is their countermeasure to get back at the U.S. Also, Putin made a number of strong comments about how the U.S. needs to have something to keep Russia down, that this is a problem with our relations and it's going to affect us forever. Though I got to admit, using children as pawns is pretty despicable. Putin also said that Syria needs to change and that he is not protecting Assad. This is the strongest statement coming out of Russia that condemns Syria for the last 2 years. A French psychiatrist is being sentenced in a murder case. This is not because she actually committed a murder, but because her schizophrenic patient did. They said that was neglect on her part, and therefore she's responsible for her patient. Getting a lot of interesting debate from the medical and psychiatric professions about whether you are responsible for your patient or not. Today marks the 9th death of a polio vaccination aid worker in Pakistan. Those people are continuing to die even though the UN did officially suspend the program. Palestine is planning to file war crime charges against Israel if Netanyahu wins prime minister again. The elections take place in January. He is expected to win them, so expect those crimes to be filed. The Ecuador Central Bank, the president resigned today. He acknowledged that his academic degree, which he submitted 22 years ago, was actually fake. It's a long time to not get caught that he actually was running the bank supposedly well. So there's that. RAND was shut down in the United Arab Emirates. This is the third move of this kind against Western research groups. RAND is a U.S. foreign policy research group in the area. It's really interesting that they are continuing to shut down specifically Western and democracy and foreign policy groups that are in those countries trying to get foreign influence out of there, particularly Western. The Egyptian top prosecutor that I mentioned earlier this week, Talat Abdullah, he resigned on Monday. He has actually retracted his resignation as of today. More information about this: he apparently was accused specifically of pressuring a judge not to release protesters that were doing opposition rallies in opposition to the Muslim Brotherhood and Mohammed Morsi. Now he's saying that he was pressured to resign and threatened, and now he's going to stand up and not resign. So very interesting situation there, and a lot of public outcry actually. Cuba is protesting U.S. fines that were levied against banks that broke sanctions regarding Cuba-U.S. relations. This is right after a UN vote which overwhelmingly condemned the 50-year-old U.S. embargo against Cuba. These were banks, not, I think, U.S. banks, but banks that helped U.S. banks get around the sanctions. Rebels in Central Africa have seized 7 towns. This happened just today. They've taken over 7 different little cities. They are saying now, though, that they're ready for negotiations with the government. Hindu nationalists won in state elections today in the Gujarat region in western India. This could affect national elections coming up in 2014, give them an edge. There are still protests going on in India regarding the rape in New Delhi, and a lot of conversation internationally about what can be done. Apparently, a woman is raped in New Delhi every 22 minutes. And finally, in Mali, the continued situation there. The Islamist extremist group Ansar Dine has now added a new brigade, which is called Ansar Sharia. Recognize that word. This group is known for public executions and amputations. This is coming right after the UN said that they'd be looking into military action, but later when they had a plan. So they're just amping things up. Anyhow, tomorrow is Friday, and I know we're all getting ready for the holidays. I will probably be recording on Christmas Day, maybe. If not, just letting you guys know in advance what's going on. Anyhow, I'm Katrina Rice. This has been your 5-minute international update, a little more than 5 minutes today. And you can find me also on Twitter, Veribatim, Veribatim, and my blog is at singlevoice.me. Have a fantastic day. See you tomorrow.